بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبع هداهم إلى يوم الدين. All praise is due to Allah. We praise Him, seek His aid and ask His forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evils of ourselves and from the evils of our actions. Whomsoever Allah guides, none can misguide, and whomsoever Allah misguides, none can guide. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except for Allah alone, have no partner, and I bear witness that Muhammad is a slave and His messenger. أما بعد, to proceed, فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله. The best of talks beyond any doubt is the book of Allah. وأحسن الهدي, the best of guidance is the guidance of His messenger Muhammad. May peace and blessings be upon him. And very most evil of all matters are the ones innovated. For every newly innovated matter in Islam is innovation, and every innovation is a misguidance, and every misguidance will lead to the hellfire. Again, just like we have started our class, which is the description of the prayer of the Prophet ﷺ, we would like to repeat what we have done as well as a start for this new book, inshallah. First of all, I would like the brothers not to leave any gaps, just like that gap in the middle. So please make sure that there's no gaps in between you. Brothers, make sure that there's no gaps. It's very important. Very important. And I'm not going to be, as you're going to be inshallah from the first time, every time you're going to apply that. Don't leave gaps. And we make a start inshallah, first of all, about the person's preparation for learning the class. And some of the students, they come, they have the eagerness to learn. And this is most, inshallah, most of the intention of the brothers who come to this class. But some, they come as well to assist. How good is the teacher? How good is he prepared? And some as well come flying customers. They come 1 or 2, 3, 4 classes, and then after that, you don't show up, and that's unfortunately is the case. The most important thing in the class, and most important thing for your intention, is that you come here to remove the ignorance from yourself. If you have this intention, then you are a mukhlis. If you have this not, you didn't have the intention, your intention is incorrect. So you better correct your intention for staying in the class, that is to remove the ignorance. And when you remove the ignorance as well, your intention is to remove the ignorance from other people. So what's the point of just learning something and you don't teach it to others? What's learning something and you don't really implement it in your daily life? So the two intentions here are very important: to remove the ignorance from yourself, and also to have the intention to remove the ignorance from others people. And that is important as well. And let's go directly to our topic. Here I have made some introduction myself to go into the book. My introduction is actually, first of all, a short biography about the original author of the book, and also a short biography about the one who does the explanation of the book, and then a short biography about the book itself. As for the biography of the Imam al-Mujaddid Muhammad ibn Al-Wahhab At-Tamimi rahimahullah, this has been taken from a number of books, mainly Al-A'lam lil-Zirqli and others. Of course, if you open a book of Imam Muhammad al-Wahhab, you'll find that the person who had printed, they might give a short biography there. But this is mine actually is a cream of crop. I've taken it from here and there, just to make sure that everybody has an idea who we're talking about and which book we're talking about. His name is Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab ibn Sulaiman ibn Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Ahmad ibn Rashid al-Tamimi rahimahullah. His birth, he was born in the year 1115 Hijri, which is equivalent to the Christian date 1703. Makes it about 313 years ago. that is in the solar system, in a place called Al-Uyayna, and this is the north of Riyadh. Riyadh is being the capital of Saudi Arabia at the moment. He was raised in a house of knowledge. He had learnt and memorized the Quran before he reached the age of 10 on the hands of his father. Not only that, his father was the one who was taught him the fiqh of the Hanbali. He taught him the tafsir and the hadith. And he was very keen to learn from the books of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, whom he died 728 Hijrah, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, and also his student Al-Allama ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi, 751 Hijrah, who died as well. And you could see here a similarity between him and the Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, that they both were keen to learn from those two great scholars, Ibn Taymiyyah and his students Ibn Qayyim. And that actually benefited him a lot and made him to concentrate on the Aqidah al-Sahihah, which stems from the book and the Sunnah. In terms of his journeys, he had traveled to Mecca to make the Hajj, and he had taken knowledge from the scholars of the place of Mecca. And he went to Medina and he stayed for a certain period, and then he went to Iraq and he resided there in Basra, and he taken from their knowledge. The time where he stayed in Iraq, it does not synchronizes with the time that an Orientalist called Henry, a British person who had made something called Mudhakkirat Henry, and that is, he had said that he met with this person and all of it was lies. Because when you match the dates between what he had said and between the dates where Imam Muhammad al-Wahhabi was there, it does not match. Our friend Sheikh Malik, Hafidhullah, he had made a treatise or a book that is in Kitaab al-Ghadanfar ala Mudhakkirat Hanfar, the lion attacking the Hanfar, and show that actually what is being said there is not really right. They wanted to make him to be linked to, that is, he is like a person who is a betrayer, basically. And they wanted to make his da'wah to be destroyed, because the da'wah is known to the ones who realized the da'wah of Salaf. Then he went to the town of Az-Zubayr, then to Ihsa. Az-Zubayr is a well-known area in Iraq, which is in the southern part of Iraq. Still some Ahl Sunnah is there, mashallah, upon the Salafi Aqidah. And then to the Ihsa. And all of those journeys, he was a Da'iyah. If I want to go on each journey, it's going to take me time. And this is, remember, abbreviated of the biography of the Shaykh, rahimahullah. His Shaykhs are plenty. Namely, there are 9 of them. First of all, his father, Shaykh Abdul Wahhab ibn Sulaiman, and Shihabuddin al-Musri, which is the judge of Basra as well. And from the North scholars of Basra, Hassan al-Islam Buli, rahimahullah, and Sheikh Muhammad Hayat Sindhi, well-known Sheikh, and one as well, Sheikh Zain al-Din al-Maghribi, rahimahullah, and others. And his students are as well many. We choose from them Ahmad ibn Rashid, which is the judge of the area of Sidir, and the Sheikh Ali ibn Sheikh Muhammad al-Wahhab, rahimahullah. So his son, alhamdulillah, students as well, and Hussein ibn Sheikh, Ali ibn Sheikh, Hassan ibn Sheikh as well, Sheikh Abdullah ibn Sheikh. All of those are relatives of his as well, who had learned from him. And the Sheikh Abdul Rahman ibn Hassan ibn Sheikh Muhammad and others. In terms of his books that he had written, he did not write as many as Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah. Shaykh al-Albani had written much more. But the Shaykh rahmatullah, he made letters, like treaties, not big books. And some of the contemporary scholars these days, he had written a book which is like gathers all the letters that Shaykh Muhammad Wahab had written, which is Athar Shaykh Muhammad Wahab, the name of it. And the Jami'at al-Imam Muhammad bin Saud, Jazakallahu Khaira, had printed that into 12 volumes. All his books that he has written are 12 volumes. Shaykh al-Albani's Silsila al-Sahihah, Silsila al-Sahihah itself, or Silsila al-Da'ifah, more than 13 volumes on itself. He had, from the books that he had written, Adab al-Mashi fi al-Salah, Arba' Qawa'id al-Tawheed, and Thalathat Usul. I'm just mentioning those, and Kitab al-Tawheed, which is فيما يجب من حق الله على العبيد. Those are the three ones, main أربع قواعد التوحيد، الأصول الثلاث، آداب المشي في الصلاة، التوحيد. Those are the books, and also كشف الشبهات. These well-known books. These books, subhanallah, they're flying all over the globe. Especially our book that we're going to be learning, inshallah. In his death, he died on the year 1206 after Hijrah. That means 6 years after the turning of the century. So it makes him had witnessed the new century. And when the Prophet ﷺ, he said, يبعث الله على رأس كل 100 عام. حديث أبي الدرداء. من يجدد لهذه الأمة دينها. Allah will, at the beginning of each century, will send someone as a scholar. He would revive for this ummah its religion. That means at the beginning of the century, that person has to be known, and has to be known by the scholars to be a scholar, and his fatawa are flying around, then he would be a mujaddid. So basically the Shaykh had witnessed the beginning of the 13th century, which is 1200 plus, and he was well known, rahimahullah. So it makes him the mujaddid al-qarn al-thalith ashar, the reviver of the 13th century. It's very important to know that, because some of those partisans these days, when they, for example, talk about their founder, okay, they say, for example, Hassan al-Banna, may Allah have mercy upon him, he's Mujaddid al-Qarn al-Ishri. Al-Qarn al-Ishri is the reviver of the 20th century. We don't have the 20th century yet, by the way. We are still in the what? Which one? Which one? 15th century. Because we are 1437. The 20th century is in 500 years. So these guys, when they say this is what they're saying, both they openly saying it. How can it be? You are using the non-Islamic date. It doesn't work. And plus, Hassan al-Banna, he had died before the turning of the 15th century. So he was not alive at the beginning of the 15th century, nor he was born at the beginning, or was not known at the beginning of the 14th century. So he's not a mujaddid. I'm just saying this is measured by sort of date-wise. As in to do with knowledge, of course, what he's known, he's not a mujaddid. He had done a lot of damage actually, rahimahullah. But he had done what he had done, but those are the ones who came after. Why are they still holding to his mistakes? They're not really correcting them. And actually his manhaj is the one that laid foundation to lots of manhaj which are deviant. One of them is takfiri manhaj. Now, the second thing that we're going to be talking about is Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymin rahimahullah. If you want more about his biography, there are plenty of books. There's one is called Al-Jami' li Hayat al-Allama Muhammad ibn Salih. Just that book. So, gathering from those books, his name, and his kunya is Abu Abdullah. Muhammad ibn Salih, the one who had explained that book. He hasn't got Al-Uthaymin in his ancestors or his forefathers, but actually the fourth grandfather of his. He was known to be Al-Uthaymin. It's like a title. It's given to the fourth grandfather. Since that, he was famous to be Sheikh Ibn Uthaymin. But none of his great-grandfather's name is named Al-Uthaymin, but he's had a shuhra, something that he's famous with. His birth, he was born, hafidhahullah or rahimahullah, on the day of Jumu'ah, the 27th, the night of 27th of Ramadan, the year 1347 Hijri day. And that's equivalent to the year 1929 in March. In the city of Unayza, which is one of the cities of the province of Al-Qasim, in a known family of knowledge and deen. Now listen, he was born on one Friday. Which night? 27th. Wallahi, we never heard any of his students, or the students of his students, or any of the Salaf people had mentioned anything about that. Imagine that he was a Sufi. Imagine. You see, our Shaykh, our Imam was born on Friday. Only that, on the night of the 27th of Ramadan. You makes him holy. I never heard about that. Have you ever heard about this before? Imagine you're Sufis. You will be known. The first thing they will teach you, he was born on Friday, the night 27th of Ramadan. It makes him holy man. That means you take whatever you like from him. Never heard about this. Because he was born. Born on a day or a particular day, it doesn't make you a holy person. What makes you holy is what? Your deeds. His knowledge, he had learnt the Quran on the hands of his grandfather, from his mother's side. So the father of his mother, Sheikh Abdul Rahman bin Sulaiman Ad-Dami. And then he learnt all other types of knowledge, even mathematics. He had learned and memorized the Quran when he was young, and he started as well writing little treatises when he was young. He was in the halaqa of the Shaykh Al-Allama Nasr Al-Sa'di, Abdul Rahman bin Nasr Al-Sa'di rahmatullahi alayhi. He had learned from his hand the tafsir and the hadith and the At-Tawheed and the fiqh and all of that. And also from his shuyukh Abdul Rahman ibn Udan, Allah have mercy upon him, in the knowledge of al-fara'id, inheritance law. And that is why he was appointed to be a judge as well, rahmatullahi alayhi, and he had learnt on the hands of Sheikh Abdul Razzaq Afifi in the Balagha and the Arabic. And every person who had learnt on the Sheikh Ibn Uthaymin, he knows how strong he is in the Arabic. He had also taken knowledge from Sheikh Muhammad Al-Amin Al-Shanqiti. But remember, he's younger from the Sheikh Al-Albani. So he taken from Sheikh Shanqiti. Remember Sheikh Shanqiti, whenever he's Sheikh Al-Albani, he stops the class while he's teaching. So he was one of his teachers. Also, Sheikh Abdul Rahman Al-Ifriqi, well-known Sheikh. Also, Sheikh Abdul Aziz bin Baz, rahmatullahi alayhi, he was one of his teachers. He had read on him Sahih al-Bukhari. Some of the Sahih al-Bukhari, not all of it. And some of the letters of Sheikh Islam ibn Taymiyyah. So, Sheikh Ibn Baz, he is his second Sheikh. It could be considered after the Sheikh al-Sa'di. Abdul Rahman bin Nasr al-Sa'di, first Sheikh. Second Sheikh is Sheikh Ibn Baz. He had met the Sheikh Al-Albani very few occasions. Very few occasions. In terms of what he had left for us, he had started to teach in the year 1370 in the big mosque in Unayza, in the time of his Sheikh Al-Sa'di. And when Sheikh al-Sa'di died on the year 1376, he had taken the imamah after him, and also the khataba, and also the teaching. He was appointed to be the teacher of the University of Imam Muhammad ibn Saud, which is a well-known university, and he had taught in Masjid al-Haram, Masjid al-Nabawi, in the Hajj season, in the Umrah seasons, and he was a member of the highest eminent scholars at his time, and he has taken as well the Ja'iza, which is the prize of a King Faisal, universal one, which Sheikh al-Albani as well got it. And rahmatullahi alayhi, he was a teacher with all that, what that word means. He had started 1370 to teach, and he's continued for 51 years until 1421. Even the last moments of his life, he was teaching. And even when he was going through his illness, every time he feels a bit healthy, take him to the haram. He wants to teach, rahmatullahi. From his books that he left, many. And many as well, they were being taken out from his explanations. Like Al-Qawl al-Mufid, he did not write it. What he has said, students, they took it and they made it in a book. And by the way, it's not everything that he said. So many things have been taken away. So if you were there to write, you'd have written more than the book that you see, which is Al-Qawl al-Mufid. From the Sheikh's books, Al-Ibda' في بيان كمال الشرع وخطر الابتداع, is to do warnings of bid'ah. أسماء الله وصفاته, أسماء الله وصفاته وموقف أهل السنة منها, and القضاء والقدر. Also a good book which we have been taught in the hands of the shuyukh, القواعد المثلى في أسماء الله الحسنى أو في أسماء الله تعالى وصفاته الحسنى, and others which are from the, as I said, recorded. In terms of elaboration, he made a lot of elaboration, great number of books, like for example, تقريب التدمرية, شرح كشف الشبهات. So he had explained the book of Sheikh Muhammad Wahab, which is كشف الشبهات, شرح لمعة الاعتقاد, شرح الأصول الثلاثة. So most of the books of Sheikh Muhammad Wahab, he had what? Explained them. And also some of the books of Sheikh Islam ibn Taymiyyah, تقريب التدمرية, فتح البرية بتلخيص الحموية, شرح العقيدة الوسطية, others as well, مختارات من ابتداء الصراط المستقيم. I've got them as well on recorded tapes until now, rahmatullahi alayhi. Now we're coming to the book, Kitaab At-Tawheed. Kitaab At-Tawheed is named At-Tawheed الذي هو حق الله على العبيد. To the Shaykh al-Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab, great book in its field. And it's a book that the Shaykh rahmatullahi alayh had made in Basra. So he started to write that book in Basra. And the reason why he had written that book, he had seen lots of shirk and lots of tawheed is missing. So he's seen the people doing lots of shirk, going to the graves, seeking help from the graveyard, making bid'ah by praying in the masajid, which have got graves in it. Because of his seeing those major shirks and minor shirks and hidden shirk, he started in Basra and he had made that book. And he had mentioned to his student and his grandson, Sheikh Imam Abdul Rahman bin Hassan rahmatullah alayhi, also had mentioned that regarding what he has done. Then the Sheikh had finished this book in Najd. When he came to Najd, he finished the book completely. And this book, it became a book of da'wah. It represents the da'wah to Tawheed. because the Shaykh rahmatullah alayhi in this book, he had made the foundation and the proofs for monotheism. So he had taught and he had presented the meaning of that monotheism and what is the virtues of the monotheism. And he had also shown to us the opposite of that. He had shown to us the fear as well, and what is opposite to it. So he had shown us the categories of Tawheed, and also he had touched on Tawheed al-Asma' wal-Sifat, but most of the book is rotating around one category of the Tawheed. Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Tawheed al-Ibadah, as we're going to see inshallah. So this book is a great book, and you could see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made this book to be so famous everywhere that the person, the student knowledge, he has no way of not looking at this book or reading that book. Even our Shaykh al-Albani, he had explained that book. You remember? First that he explained, Book of Tawheed. And even the scholars, they said that this book looks like Sahih al-Bukhari. Sahih al-Bukhari is a hadith. This is like Sahih al-Aqidah. Sahih al-Bukhari and hadith, this is Sahih al-Aqidah. And that is why we're going to see inshallah why did the Shaykh did not start with an introduction. He's like Imam al-Bukhari, did not start with an introduction. Sahih al-Bukhari's got no introduction for Imam al-Bukhari, straight away. First hadith, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Same thing here. فضل التوحيد, straight away. لا إله إلا الله. So, you could find in this book, just like the book of al-Bukhari, is that same thing, and you'll find the ayah, hadith, and then a bit of explanation there. And rahmatullahi alayh, he had now made this book, and this book, just like Sahih al-Bukhari at the moment, is in the hands of so many people. We find as well the book of Tawheed in the hands of so many students. This book had got so many books to explain it. Just like al-Bukhari, we had Sharh al-Qasqalani, remember the Hajar al-Asqalani, to explain Sahih al-Bukhari. We had so many books to explain the book of Kitaab al-Tawheed. So many. More than 20 explanations. Start with the first one, Taysir al-Aziz al-Hamid. This is the longest one. It was Shaykh Sulaiman ibn Shaykh, rahmatullah alayhi. And he is the great-grandchild, the son of Muhammad ibn al-Wahhab. He explained it, and it was the longest, but he did not finish it. And the one who is the publisher, who published the book, he asked from the Shaykh Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, lately, talking about the last 70 years, he asked him to continue from where he left. He left about 7 chapters from the book of Tawheed. He told him to continue that, but he couldn't as well. Rahmatullahi alayh. Second book, explaining this book, Tahqiq al-Tajreed, Shaykh Abdul Hadi Muhammad. Third one, Fath al-Majid, Sharh Kitaab al-Tawheed. And we're going to, as well, the one which I have learned from my Ushuyukh is Fathullah, or Fath al-Majid, and also Fathullah al-Hamid al-Majid fi Sharh Kitaab al-Tawheed, Shaykh Hamid Muhammad ibn Hassan, rahmatullahi alayh. The one you had before, Shaykh Nasr al-Sa'di, is called Qawl al-Sadid. You remember that book that we said the translation is no good? It's called Al-Qawl al-Sadid fi Maqasid al-Tawheed. That book is a great book, but it's not really, if you could say, a thorough explanation of the book itself. There is, as well, so many books, as I said, up to 20. And from the latest ones, Like we have Sharh Kitab At-Tawheed, Sheikh Abdul Aziz ibn Baz, and of course Al-Qawl al-Mufid of Sheikh ibn Uthaymeen, rahmatullah. Now there are even books which, not to study or not to explain the book, but to see why is this book is a great book. So there was books who were made to talk about this book but not to explain the chapters. Like for example, At-Tawheed al-Mufid لمسائل كتاب التوحيد, Sheikh Duwaysh rahmatullahi alayhi, a man who did not live for a long time. But he was, if he lived for a long time, he would have been a great scholar, Hafiz, and he was very fond of Sheikh al-Albani rahmatullahi alayhi. From his students, of course, Sheikh Abdullah al-Bilan, hafidhahullah. And also, we have a book which is called Da'if Kitab al-Tawheed, the weak hadith in Kitab al-Tawheed, and there is another one which is to refute that book, Takhrij Ahadith Muntaqada fi Kitab al-Tawheed, to refute that book. Right, we have about 12 books related to that book. Anybody wants to take that from me, I can give him inshallah. The second thing we're going to be talking about is the book of ours, which is Al-Qawl al-Mufid. Now we're going to talk about Al-Qawl al-Mufid, because our book is Kitab al-Tawheed, but the explanation is Qawl al-Mufid. Al-Qawl al-Mufid is originally, it's classes being delivered by Sheikh ibn Uthaymeen rahmatullah alayhi in his masjid, which is the big masjid in Al-Unayza, in Al-Qasim. And some of his students, they came to the Sheikh and they said to him, we want to take your words and put them in a book. So the Sheikh accepted. So Dr. Sulaiman Abu Khair and Khalid al-Mshagih, these two doctors, PhD in religion, they have, Jazakumullah khairan, gone together and they have put the words of the Sheikh into books and they gave it to the Sheikh. So the Sheikh looked at it and he had fixed something, omitted something, and deleted something, and he added something as well. And it's been printed, Dar Ibn al-Jawzi and Dar al-Thuraya, but the latest one, Mu'assasat al-Risala. This is the one that the Shaykh Rahmatullah ibn Uthaymeen had depended upon, Mu'assasat al-Risala. This book has number of merits. Why we have chosen Al-Qawl al-Mufid? Could have chosen, remember, more than 20 lists of explanation of Kitab al-Tawheed. Why we chose that? Because it has the, first of all, lots of fawaid. And it has as well tafsir to many ayat, deep tafsir interpretation. And also, it has so many issues regarding hadith, usul al-hadith, fiqh, usul al-fiqh, language, lots of things. And its simplicity and clarity. And it has also, at the end of the chapter, the cream of the crop. What do we learn? The cream of the crop. And it was not long, and it was not short. It was in between. In the Shaykh Rahmatullah as well, he had pointed out about the taqibat. And some of that, he said, this is a mistake, it's supposed to be this way. Now, if we look at the book of the Shaykh, where did he get his sources? There is no sources. Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen did not list sources for his explanation. The Shaykh Rahmatullah used to explain as a teacher, but he doesn't ask, for example, this is, you find it in such and such. If you listen to our Shaykh Mashroor Hafidhahullah in her explanation of Sahih Imam Muslim, which has been now more than 15 years, which I think if you're going to print his sharh, it's going to be about, I don't know, more than 20 volumes now. You will find that each matter is like an encyclopedia. It will tell you how many. I wanted to prepare once, just for one class, to see that, how can I prepare? I prepared so much. And I came, and I thought, inshallah, I'm going to beat the Shaykh in this preparation. I was defeated completely, without any. The Shaykh's sources, he could reach something that unreachable. So we call him encyclopedia. But the Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen, he's like the old mashayikh, you know. all mashayikh. They don't really mention the page numbers and everything, all mashayikh, and his explanation. But when the person reads his books, his explanation, and read it, he will come out that definitely he had referred to sources. So some of the sources that we could find, Al-Fatawa, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, definitely he takes from there. And sometimes he said Fatawa, he said his Fatawa. So his Fatawa, which is 36 volumes. Al-Kafiya al-Shafiya, which is known to be a Nuniyya, Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah rahmatullah alayh. And Al-Fiyat ibn Malik, it's like in his heart. He refers to it as well. The longest explanation, which we said, Tafsir al-Aziz al-Hamid, the greatest Muhaddith Sulaiman ibn Abdullah al-Shaykh rahmatullah alayh. And he always referred to it as Sharh, and Sharh. رفع الملام عن الأئمة الأعلام, الكامل ابن أثير, and جامع العلوم والحكم ibn Rajab, وزاد المعاد, and others. But these are the main sources of the Shaykh. He refers to them. Some of them, sometimes he in his class refers to some books, but he does not mention them. So he would say Shaykh al-Islam, but he does not refer to Shaykh al-Islam in so many books. Which book? But he does not refer to which one. And sometimes he says Ibn Abi al-Izz. He means by this Ali ibn Ali al-Hanafi, Sharih al-Aqid al-Tahawiyya ibn Abi al-Izz al-Hanafi, who was as well affected by the Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullah alayh, but he was not really showing that, because remember, Hanafis can't show that they are affected by Ibn Taymiyyah, but all his sharh wasn't from Ibn Taymiyyah, most of it. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, also he refers to him Imam Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and Imam Ibn Rajab also, and he mentions Al-Qurtubi bin Mubarak al-Razi and all others, and Abdul Rahman bin Sa'di. Right, now if you look at the Shaykh in the way that he's explaining the book, you'll find that he concentrates at the beginning, why is this chapter being brought? Or what is the link of that chapter to Tawheed? Because the Tawheed is all of it, Kitaab al-Tawheed. The book is all of it about the Tawheed. So what is the link of that chapter title with the Tawheed? He concentrates on that a lot, which is very important. And this is to show that the deep understanding of the Shaykh rahmatullah alayh, and he's linked straight to the mind of the first Imam Muhammad Wahhab. How can he envisage why the Shaykh had said this chapter? What does he mean by that? Why he made that chapter, and what is the relation between that chapter and the book of Tawheed? Sometimes the chapter is not related to the book of Tawheed, but the Shaykh, he points that out. So he would say, why? What is the tarjama means here? The title, the chapter title, what does it mean? What does it link? Also, he had as well, he was keen to explain some of those words which they need to be explanation, like the word At-Tawheed. He had concentrated on what is the meaning of Tawheed, Al-Hadith al-Qudsi, and others. You could find it there, inshallah. And the word Arraf, he made a lot of explanation for that word, and he went through it to show us the Kahan and Arraf and so on and so forth. And Shaykh rahmatullah alayhi, his technicality in terms of explanation, he made us as well with chapters. When you have chapters, it makes it easy for you. You don't have chapters, you don't the books before the mutawalat. If you read them, you read about one page and you get dizzy. Because it's not really being chapterized. It's not chapter. So the chapter makes it easy for you to divide. But if it's everything lumped together, you're going to be a scholar to be able to read them. So we have lots of chapters which I've taken from there, and also we have the Shaykh rahmatullah alayhi, which is the very, you could say, beautiful thing about it, is that he gives you alive examples to understand something that the students might not be able to understand from, for example, the current era. Bring something that you know about, not something that's been mentioned before, which is very difficult. So when they talked about, for example, the talisman, tamam, some of the people don't understand that word tamam. So the Shaykh, he brings, Jazakallah khairan, the bracelet that the people bring, which is the copper one, for arthritis, as an example. And then he focuses on it to link it to that shirk. to show you whether it's right or wrong. So the live link up between, and this is very important, that the Shaykh can derive for us live example to make it easy for us to imagine. Sometimes you can't imagine. You can't even know what is the Shaykh means by this. So when he talked about, for example, the bid'ah, idafiyya or something, he will talk about, for example, bid'ah asliyya, he will bring the celebration of the birth of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Also sometimes the Shaykh would go to the al-mushkil, something that would create problem for you to understand. So he will solve it for you. And this is, by the way, been done by so many scholars before him. Sharh Mukhtalif al-Hadith, for example. And also, which is Ibn Qutaybah, rahmatullahi alayhi. And also, Sharh Mushkil al-Hadith, for the same Imam, rahmatullahi alayhi. Others as well, they have made books to solve the, some problems. For example, what is how can we solve the qada Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the decree of Allah azza wa jal? The Shaykh brings it. How can qada Allah azza wa jal, something that you don't like, Allah decrees upon you something which you don't like, how can we solve that? So Allah, the Shaykh rahmatullah alayhi, he tells us those things that makes a puzzle in the mind of so many people. What time is it? Isha? The Isha? Nobody knows? 31. Right, because it's coming to the end, the Shaykh rahmatullah alayhi, he also mentions for us in his book lots of partisans who are upon bid'ah. So he talks about the grave worshippers, al-Mu'attila, al-Rafida, al-Jahmiya, al-Zanadiqa, all of this. And the Shaykh, he could see his knowledge in the interpretation of the Quran, and also in his usul and in his lounge. Usul al-fiqh. As for his merchandise in hadith, it's not really as much. The Shaykh rahmatullah alayhi, he has he's in touch with the hadith, but he's not a scholar of hadith, rahmatullah alayhi. He's more of a fiqh. Okay, it's more of a fiqh Shaykh. And sometimes as well, he depends upon a hadith which turns to be not authentic. Right, as in terms of the correction of the Shaykh, we could see that in a number of as well cases. So finally, the book of Tawheed is the book of Sheikh Muhammad Wahab. Sheikh Muhammad Wahab is so famous that even the ones who were born before him, and they were scholars well known before him, they were labeled Wahhabis, like Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn Taymiyyah Wahhabi. Have you heard about this? You never heard about this? Yeah. He said, Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah Wahhabi. Between Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah, the death of the Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah, and the death of the Shaykh Muhammad Wahab, 500 years. Yet, Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah is called Wahhabi. They're going to say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Wahhabi as well. But just to tell you how famous is Shaykh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Now these days, as soon as the person start talking about hadith, qala Allah, qala Rasul, start talking about the bid'ah of the mawlid, of the innovation of the birth of the Prophet of Allah, you'll be labeled Wahhabi straight away. So I'll finish and I'll end up. This is, by the way, start. I'm going to start with the book. Next week, let me just give me that book. We have chosen that book. If you read in page number 9 and number 10 of that book, there, the summarization. This book, by the way, Al-Mukhtasar, hasn't been done by the Shaykh himself. It's been done by the what? The one who had done this. Jazakallah khair. He hasn't done all the chapters, which I'm going to add, because he had taken the chapters which he thinks is not related to the Tawheed. He had put the points of Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen there. Okay. And he had made abbreviation. We made this because of, as I say, some of the students are not really going to be doing big volumes. So this inshallah be enough. So this is the Mukhtasar Al-Qawl Al-Mufid. It is concise, but it's not all the chapters of Kitab At-Tawheed. And if you read for us, please, Dr. Sayyid, quickly, just the end of page number 9. page number 10. Page number 10. Yeah, page number 10. Just leave the list, page number 10. Yeah, that's it. Read.
Page 10. In Arabic, the Shaykh's work is over 700 pages. Therefore, the work was summarized for the sake of brevity and inshallah for easier retention by the English-speaking audience. This translation contains points of benefit not present in any of the available translated explanations of Kitaab At-Tawheed and has another feature which makes it distinct, namely that the narrations that have been assessed to be unauthentic, although their meanings are for the most part correct, have been separated from the main core of the book and placed in a separate appendix at the end of this book, thus making this book a Sahih Kitaab At-Tawheed edition.
So they made their own version of Sahih Kitaab At-Tawheed. I'm not really agreeing with that. I'm not agreeing with that. Sahih Kitaab At-Tawheed, because it has to be done by scholars. But I would say that he has taken away some of the chapters which he thinks not related to the Tawheed, but that is as well, I don't agree upon this. Because you are actually, it says there.
It says the methodology of this book was to restrict the translation to those parts that are directly related to Tawheed and Shirk, and omit the parts that, although beneficial, do not directly pertain to Tawheed and Shirk.
Well, you should name it in another book. It's not your book. It's not the book of Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen. If you do take away and put something, it's not the book of Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen. It has to be with the approval of the Sheikh Rahmatullah. But anyway, the brothers had said it's a good translation. And as I said, it's if I tell you how many volumes of Musa, the book, which is in English, 2? Huh? Yeah, 2 big ones. About 900 pages, maybe. So about 1,550 each, 1,100. So 1,100, as soon as if you put it here, somebody might have a heart attack. So we'll keep ourselves with this, inshallah. Subhanakallah bihamdik.